Yo guys, welcome to the video. This is Josh or Milky, and in today's video we're going to be talking about two things. We're going to go first over the woods. A lot of people asked in the last video, how do you get the most wisps? How do you get those really juicy maps? So I'm going to show my strategy for running the wood and how I get the most. Hopefully we get a good one for demonstration purposes. If not, then I can tell you what we do if we get a bad wood. As well as that, I'll show what I've done today, the strategy that I've tried out and how well it went. It went really, really well. I can show the stats on the recording here. We got Divs 48, Voidborns 8, Valdos 9. I think I only did like 40 maps or something, so we're chilling. But let's go straight in here. We'll get to the map. We'll go straight into the wood, as we're always going first, obviously, if you're doing this kind of strategy. And the first thing you want to do, obviously, we spawned on wisps here, which is great. If you don't spawn on wisps, the strategy is to kind of nudge around, kind of poke your head out, see if you can get any mobs to come at you, and they'll typically give you some kind of guidance. But obviously, in this situation, we have the blue fuel going this way. Now, we did get some purple. We saw it come to us. So there's maybe some purple over there, which will be good to know for later if we end up needing more. Now, these balls are really important. So you see this light ball right here? Those are very, very important as we find a vendor. Let me just clear out the mobs so they're not going to kill me while I'm speaking. There are two kinds of balls, and these are very important. The first one, see this like radiating glow coming off of it? That means when I walk into this, it's going to pulse and it's going to reveal more of the area, which can be useful. It means you have to use less of your fuel. And the other one will be a smaller ball, which means it will basically recharge some of your fuel that you've used. So it's not actually time-based. A lot of people think that. It's not time-based, so you can spend as much time in here as you want. And when you walk over this, it will do that. And the other one will give you more time, so more opportunity to go into the darkness. You basically have a meter that you can't see, and every time you reveal some of the darkness, it gets depleted. So here we have a vendor. Now, you'll notice I'm trying to stay pretty central, because even if this little edge pokes into the darkness, that's some of your time in here consumed. Now, you don't have to be this min-maxy at all. Obviously, I don't want to kind of min-max the fun out of it for anyone, but the idea is that you limit the amount that you go into the darkness in order to get more time to travel. So you want to be going in straight lines, looking for these balls. This is another light one. You can see from the radiating glow coming out of it. It's going to blow up. And we have a purple stream there, blue there. We already have some blue, so we'll try grab some purple and head in this direction. We'll see what we can get. Be good if we can get one of the refuels. Here we have an event. Always look for these. Whenever you see a place open up like this, it's going to have some good stuff. We've got some blue. Now, pay attention to where the mobs come from as well, because typically that's going to be where the next fuel is and the next juice. So the mobs came from up, but I am going to poke my head around. I'm going to have a little look. Obviously, you would be doing this maybe a bit faster. We do also have a trail going off there, but be careful because this could just loop back round to where we came from. So I'm going to see if there are any more mobs in this direction, which there are. So I'm kind of tempted to have a look up here. And it seems like it isn't this way. So we're going to follow this trail over here, hoping it doesn't double back on us and we end up just where we came from. It doesn't seem to be, which is nice. But we have got a pretty bad one here. So this has dead-ended, which is never what you want. Now, this is what I mean. So you could go grab this now, but if you do, you're going to use some of your fuel to go into the dark. Now, if you wait until you've run out of fuel, you'll be able to pick this up at no cost, so to speak. You won't have to use any of your light to go and get it. So we're going to have another look around. We do remember that there was that purple at the beginning we could go to. There's also purple going down here that we can follow. Obviously, you would be doing this much faster for the purposes of demonstration. I'm going a bit slower. And you're always looking for the event. So hoping that this opens up into a big event. And it didn't. This one actually didn't. So another pretty bad one. And then we can check here, this blue. It seems like we've got a pretty rough one. We've got a boss here. And that's the end. Unfortunately, that is the end. So at the end here, what you would do is run around and get anything on the edge that you missed. You can get it now for free because you're not going to be revealing any of the darkness and then consuming some of the time you're going to get in here. And you basically just got to try and remember where you've been in order to do that. And we end up getting 3,400 blue juice, which will be a perfectly fine map. Obviously, that's a lot of additional currency that's going to drop once we get all this. And that's the basic premise that I use to do it all the time. The biggest thing I can say is don't run off to the edge to grab all the juice as soon as you see it. There's no need. Follow the trails. Try get to the next big event, the next big amount of juice. then go back at the end and get the rest. That's the biggest thing I can say to you. That's going to be the biggest difference in how much juice you actually get. You can see this is pretty well exhausted at this point. There's nothing really left that I left lying around. Obviously, it's going to take a bit more time, but this is the most important time of your map. This is where all the loot's going to come from. So I am going to portal out. I will clear this map afterwards. But I want to show you what we did today. So yesterday we did Wandering Path. Today I'd been hearing some rumblings about Harbinger being good. So I decided to test out some Harbinger without Wandering Path. And that is because the Abyss nodes and the Harbinger nodes are pretty good for Harbinger. Obviously you get an additional Harbinger boss, which spawns tons of rares. And I did actually drop a lot of Divine Orbs from the rares that were there from the Harbinger. So a very good source of monsters, which is very good for the League mechanic. And then obviously getting the Abyss notables that we can't get on Wandering Path is pretty good. Abysses in your map spawn 50% increased monsters. Very, very nice. You've got 10% more monsters here. You've got an additional chance to get more pits, which is very good for more mobs. And then higher rarity mobs, which is going to mean more loot as well. And then if you don't lead to an Abyssal Depth, you're going to get 4 pits with this final node, which is huge because all those pits spawn rare monsters, which drops more loot, and you get those big explosions. Now, at the end, you do spawn the Stygian Spire, which is a result of the Gilded Scarab that we're using. Let me see if I can find it. The Gilded Scarab says, abysses in your area that do not lead to Abyssal Depths lead to the Spire. Now, the Spire spawns at the end, on the 5th pit, if you're using that notable passive, and basically it will fire out projectiles that will spawn mobs. This actually gets scaled if you have additional projectiles on your map. Now, do bear in mind, these are very rippy. Abysses are extremely rippy, especially if you're doing this kind of strat. I ripped 2 really juicy maps today, but it is what it is. It happens. And it ended up being really good. So we got the Harbinger nodes, we got the Abyss nodes. We still went with Beyond because Beyond is just too good to cut. Also managed to pick up some of the Legion notables because we're going into Legion now. We're not Wandering Path. I did drop Breach. I didn't like the timed element. It's too hard to kill all the mobs. And Breach, even in Calandra League, when I tested Breach, it didn't seem to spawn as many of those rares that have conversions on them as other mechanics. Whether there's an inherent kind of value to League mechanic mobs, I don't know. But Breach does seem to spawn fewer than others that I've tested. So I went with this tree right here, which will be linked in the description on my Atlas tree spreadsheet, as all my other ones are. But in terms of what we put on the map, which I briefly mentioned earlier, we have Ritual Altars, because Ritual is not timed, and therefore we can kill all the monsters in there, and it's really nice. Also, if you pop the Legion beforehand, all the monsters that you kill from the Legion that spawned in the Ritual circle will be in the Ritual. So make sure you do your Legions first if they're overlapping with a Ritual, then do the Ritual. You'll get more loot that way. Beyond, this compass is going up in price. There is the option to use it on the map device and drop 7th Gateway. Perfectly reasonable, so you're paying 5C per map instead of what is about 15C per map now to run the compass. Don't feel bad about doing that. Abyss, obviously, this is like 5C. The elevated one is really expensive. Just use the non-elevated version. It's absolutely fine. And then I use the Harbinger compass here at the bottom. I don't think I'd use this again. The Harbies were okay. What I'd heard about Harbies dropping additional loot, Harbinger loot, definitely didn't seem to be the case. I could say almost definitively that they do not, but I wouldn't be so bold after one session. I don't think Harbies is worth using as a compass slot for. I would drop that for something else, whether it was Delirium or just additional rare monsters in the map. Maybe a Gloom Shrine if you need to fit that in to have better map clear. Many options available to you. You could also put on a Breach if you want just more mobs. But definitely, I don't think I'd be going with Harby. Again, at least in the compass slot, the actual mobs in the map were fine, as this League mechanic does just use mechanics as conduits for additional mobs, and Harby was perfectly fine with the King Harbies. As I say, I dropped a lot of Divines from them, but don't think I'd do again. Now, as for the loot, I mean, I'll show you in kind of... I already showed you the ratios, but I'll show you in kind of the form here. We got a lot of Winged Scarabs. We got all those there. All those there. What about Gilded? Gilded. Yeah, big piles of Gilded Scarabs. Very nice. Ton of Gilded Scarabs. We did get one T0 unique today. It was a Divinarius. Tons of good fracturing items. We even got a replica Dragon Fang that had +1 level, +3 level to Spectres. So that went for like 8 Divines. Ton of Voidborn Keys, Valdos. Very, 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 very solid strategy. And certainly want to try it. It's much easier than the Wandering Path. Slightly lower yield, I expect. It might not necessarily be the case. We'll find out as we update our PoE stack. Let's go in here, go to stash view, select our 2 tabs that we've put in all our loot into. And then we can load it up. So there it is, all pulled. 146 divines today, a bit less than yesterday, but yesterday we did drop a Squire and 2 Hinakora's locks. So we also did like 8 less maps. So actually, and it was actually very comparable in terms of the returns, even without those juicy drops. So another just really solid way of using the league mechanic. Even if you don't want to use Wandering Path, this is certainly something you could try out. I actually have it here on my spreadsheet. I'll need to update this to account for how many maps we did. Let me just put in the 40, 40, 10, 10, 10, 10, and 40. So we put in 10 divines worth of stuff. That's obviously not including the price to roll the map, which I'm just chisel out volleying. Pretty normal. I'm not running 8 mods. A lot of people asked about that. I'm not only running 8 mods. I'm trying to run 8 mods, but no one's selling like bulk 8 mod maps. So for Jungle Valleys at least. So I'm just going with what I have. But yeah, so we made, what did it say? I mean, just for the sake of it, we'll put it in. It's not that big of a deal. Yeah, about 12 divines now. I don't think it was actually 11 hours. I think it was more like 9. Yeah, about 15. So another crazy use of the league mechanic. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you're trying some of these out and you're having a great time with it. My build, something that people have asked about, I will make a video on. I'm not much of a build maker, but I will try and put out a video going over the build and some of the things to look out for if you choose to run it. So I appreciate you watching. Stay tuned for more videos. I'll be doing more strats every day. And yeah, subscribe if you want to see those. Have a good time. Bye-bye. Uh-oh. No, I stood on an abyss by accident. Okay, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay. Ding, 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 ding. Tank! Tank! Any tinkers? Painted orb fusing is finally not a thing. Thank you, Neversick. We can be friends again. Tank! Yeah, this map's gonna be crazy. The timing of your comment, Luna, I'm very sorry. It was kind of memey when I said, give me one, I'll show you how it's done, but... Two more! Keep it coming! Keep it coming! How's the strats? It's been pretty similar. I think on average it's slightly worse, but also slightly easier, so... But I don't know. We'll see at the end because it could all just be you know, variants. We'll see. We'll see. It seems pretty close. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Don't be stupid, game. You're gonna get me banned, bro. I have 6 divines so far this map. Everyone say hi, YouTube. This might be the tuber. Hi. Oh, he's tanky. I like that. Never mind. I mean, if I don't, I kind of don't want to drop a mirror because I said if I do, I'll hit the green chussie. I don't really want to do that. No, I said I'd rather give away divines, but it turns out in a league where you have to backtrack regardless, it ain't that bad. I have to go back to pick up the loot anyway. Might as well kill 700 loot goblins while I'm doing it. No, Grand Design wouldn't be very good this league. Bye. Bye, game. Bye. What the hell? What was that brightness? Flashback, get down. That was the light at the end of the affliction tunnel. Okay. Then I got an infinite load screen. This isn't looking good. Okay, my map's not dead. Promising. But I did lose the reveal, so I don't know where I was up to. I think I was doing an abyss on the right hand side. Not an abyss, a ritual. think I'm leaning towards purple effects currency, by the way. This map makes no sense. And neither do the other three. Like 3 color maps that I do. Why would, if it didn't affect currency, why would triple color maps drop like 4, 5, 6 divines? As opposed to a 2k, 2k, blue, yellow? Why would the 2k, 2k in a 3-star be any different? I'm really leaning towards it. But the only reason I'm hesitant is because it contradicts how rarities worked previously, right? Stop using that emote. We're beam looting. Oops. Never mind. Not next to the ritual or not. Blue currency conversion is... What do you mean blue currency conversion? Conversions in general are tied to rarity, yeah. Like if you kill a mob with the Arch Nemesis modifier that converts all the items to something else, yeah. That's what you mean. This was a clicker. This is better than that one we had yesterday, I think. Ooh. Second thing. Alright. Oh, a little bit more. A little bit more. I don't know. No. I'm full. No, it's the why. I hate that emote. Oh my, there's more of it. My hands. Still got the boss as a hobby in there too. I'm kind of making these guys wait to try. I should leave and trade them, shouldn't I? Hey man.